Welcome back to Manor Road Studio. I'm Dale. This is the Alive Podcast. And every good thing that has happened in your life happened because something changed. Growth only comes through change, but yet some of us fear it so bad. And the old saying, growth is on the other side of fear. Success is the only side of fear. Yet why do we fear change so much? Okay, that'll be kind of a basis for where we're going today. I got an email the other day and somebody said, Dale, how did all of this start? That's a fair question. And to get this, I'm going to have to go kind of back in time a little bit to July of 2007 when I first got diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer. And I started writing blogs. And I think I mentioned this one time before, but I was writing blogs really with a pretty strong religious tenet to it. And that was probably because at that time in my life, I had developed a love for religiosity, dogmatism, you name it. I mean, I was really, really indoctrinated, if that's a fair word to say. And then over the years, I started, again, this is going to sound bad, but you know what? Let's be authentic. That's what the A stands for. I started really thinking and digging deep and realizing that some of the things that I had been indoctrinated to believe just simply weren't factual. So my writing changed. But one thing that remained and maybe even elevated to a higher level was my deep, passionate love for humanity. The absolute desire for people to find hope and happiness in their life. And the more I got away from the religious tenets, the more I realized how much love I really had in my heart, how much warmth was there that I wanted to share and give. And my writings began to reflect that. And then in July of last year, when my cancer came back and spread to some various places, my writing really upped a notch because I felt the urgency not only for more authenticity come out, but I really needed to get the thoughts that were in me somehow on paper, if that makes sense. So then we began this Alive podcast with authenticity being the root of it. Matter of fact, it's kind of interesting. The first speech I gave at a church about the Alive podcast, it was actually just live, L-I-V-E, live. And it was still love, imagine, victory, and evolve. But when I got to the very end of it, a thought popped in my head, and I'm like, wait a minute. Let's go backwards and add an A to this. Instead of live, let's live alive. And that was kind of the foundation that led to where we are now. And my passion for sharing hope is just unbelievable. And I want to use this platform for a lot of things. One is how much I care about caregivers. And what I mean by caregivers are someone that's taking care of someone that's sick that can't 100% take care of themselves. Most people don't realize the stress and strain that they are under. We're always asking about the sick person, but very seldom going, how are you? So, caregivers are the silent sufferers, if you will. So I share that with you to say, always remember, if you know somebody in your life that's a caregiver right this minute, please reach out to them and say, is there anything I can do for you? We really appreciate the share of the love you're showing to whoever. It's tough. It's really, really tough to be a caregiver. So my hat's off to you. And this is a platform that I want to use to, again, elevate those that do that. And another platform for the Alive podcast is cancer fighters. It's a really, really tough, lonely journey. And I want to make sure that no matter what kind of cancer you have, that it's not overlooked. Because sometimes people go, oh, yeah, but that's the good cancer. Oh, they'll be able to get that with surgery. They don't know the mental and emotional and spiritual strain it puts on you. Because when people say stuff like that, what it does is shut everybody else. It just shuts you down. You're like, okay, obviously I can't talk about my concerns, so I'll just shut up. So I'll use the platform for caregivers, for cancer fighters, but then here's the biggie. I really want people to see the beauty in themselves. I want all of us to appreciate the identity of others. People do not have to be like you. They don't have to follow the same indoctrination, the same dogmatism, the same religion. It doesn't matter. What the fact is they're human beings and they deserve to be loved in the same manner anyone else does. With that being said, let's go back now to the beginning about change. One of the things that I love to talk about is what do you see when you look at something? Do you see the beauty? Do you see the ugly? Do you see the good? Do you see the bad? Two people can see the same thing and see it different ways. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see someone beautiful? Do you see someone ugly? That matters. That matters. I don't care whether you think you're skinny, fat, short, or tall. If you look in the mirror and see yourself as anything but beautiful, please, by all means, keep listening to the Alive podcast. And I can drive out in the desert after a cancer treatment when, I'm really, really down. Times are tough. You don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. And I can just look at the sand, look at the tumbleweed, look at the cactus, and I see so much immense beauty in it. Where somebody else may go, ugh, that's ugly. Who wants to be in the desert? It's all perspective. It's all focus. But the main thing I want to tell you, if I leave you with anything today, is change. Growth only comes through change. Every good thing that happens in your life happens because something changed. So if you don't see yourself as beautiful, please find a way to change. If you don't see your friends or people you come in contact with as beautiful, please find a way to change. Because again, I've always said, people aren't the way you see them. They're usually the way you are. That's pretty powerful, isn't it? See the world around you as beautiful. There's so much more good and beauty in the world than you see on the news. This is going to sound crazy, but I mean it. I probably haven't sit and watched the news in over a year. I just simply don't care about the negative that they want to put out there. I care about lifting people up that are down, and we do that through human contact. I want to use my platforms on social media, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, to find ways to help people grow, identifying themselves, and let them know that whatever your identity is, we can still love you. So that's it. Contact me at dalechildress@icloud.com. Friend me on Facebook. Send me a message. I want to hear about you. I always want to tackle the subjects that are on your mind, no matter whether you think they're good or bad, tough or not. Bring them on. We're ready for it. Other than that, live alive.